Hi everyone, and welcome to How to Accelerate Your Practice by 30% in as little as 30 days for greater profits and patient outcomes. I'm Dr. Melissa Grill-Petersen. I'm the founder of the Functional Medicine Agency and the developer of the Practice Accelerator 30 in 30 seminar series. And today I want to tell you about the foundational principles that have helped hundreds of doctors across the country, regardless of specialty. All it matters is that you have a mission to help people get well. Doesn't matter what type of doc you are or clinician, just matters that you're in this space and you want to know how to do it even better than you already are, how to improve your business, how to improve patient compliance, results, and profitability. If that sounds of interest to you, keep watching this seminar, and we're going to make sure that you get the help and the support that you deserve today. Now, in case you've never met me before or been on one of my webinars or come to one of my seminars, my name is Dr. Melissa Grill-Petersen, and as I said a moment ago, I opened a functional medicine agency several years ago after more than a decade of being in consulting and really having doctors come to me continuously and saying, how do we do it like you're doing it? How do we get more media? How do we get more press? How do we improve our marketing? How do we put the pieces together in our practice to get better patient outcomes? How do we keep them? How do we keep them here? And you know, over time, through my own practice, Inspired Health Institute, I just started being there, more than 20 years in it, and realizing here's the things that are working, here's what's not, here's my own challenges. I know what I feel like when I'm struggling, and I'm hearing it from so many others. I know I'm not alone. So I personally had gone on my own mission. I went and I've studied for years, and I've made it my mission to help not only my patients, but to really help my fellow practitioner, because I feel like we are such a small body in this ever-changing sea of health and wellness care, of true change agents. We are the like minds that know, man, it's not working and there's a better way, but how do we, it's not clear to us as doctors because we've all been taught so many different things, but we all know that there's this message about lifestyle, about natural approaches, about a more integrative approach that can be taken to truly help people get greater results and experience true health and wellness. If that sounds like you, a doctor that's on that same type of mission, then keep watching this, because again, we're kindred spirits, and I'm on a mission to help you so that we can all help our patients and our practices thrive. And you know, I don't know if you can relate, but when I started out, I thought that success was literally right over here, this nice straight trajectory. Just, it's kind of that old build it and they will come mentality, but can you relate to this? I don't know if your experience has been anything like mine, but over the past 20 plus years, I have definitely had twists and turns and ups and downs. And that's when I went out on my own mission, if you will, to say, how can it be done better? It may not be a straight shot, but if we could take out some of these really harebrained, moments and make it just a bit more enjoyable, a bit more meandering of a path with gentle twists and turns that could make the ride more enjoyable, well, then what would that look like? What would that be like? Because I was doing too much of this. Now, I don't know if you can relate, because if we have an idea of what success is supposed to be like, and you're in practice doing the things that you think are right, but yet you're not getting the result that you want, then this is typically it, right? Frustration, worry, lack, doubt, overwhelm, anger, even in some cases, resentment. It can lead to so many emotions that as a doctor, as a clinician, it makes it really challenging, because you were taught to be a great doctor, but we're all out in this, like I said, changing field of healthcare, and we're trying to put on the hat of how to be a good business person, as well as a great clinician, as well as a marketer, as well as a salesperson, as well as an educator, and keep our own sanity and family lives and financial stability going all at once. And it can be a lot to juggle. So I totally get it, because I've been there. And again, this is because of this very picture you're seeing, because of being frustrated on more than one occasion, is why I went out to figure it out and put it together in such a systematic way that it would really minimize these types of moments. And that's what the Practice Accelerator is all about, because what you will hear me say anytime you're in a seminar or a webinar with me is, you are not to blame. Okay, it really isn't your fault, because again, as I just mentioned a few moments ago, the standard of education for any of us in this clinical realm has been to make us great clinicians. And in part, you know, if you've got any type of doctorate to your name, it's so that you understand how to match signs and symptoms with appropriate diagnosis codes, because then that is deemed by the insurance company of what will or won't be reimbursed, what you can or cannot do. So you're really taught to be more of a technician, right, versus an entrepreneurial business person that's understanding the bigger picture of not only providing amazing care and right diagnosis and right path, but it's more than just a numbers game, you know, because you now know that just matching the signs and the symptoms to the diagnosis code and then having limited ability granted to you of what will be reimbursed or what you're allowed to do does not get the patient well. It has set up a multi-billion-dollar industry of symptom and disease management, but it has done little for correction and truly promoting health and well-being. And so I am here to tell you again, it is not your fault. But knowledge is power, right? Once we realize that things are broken, then we have to say, okay, well, if this isn't it, how do I achieve success? How do I start to put the pieces together in a different way? And again, it can be overwhelming. It can be scary. And so even though we want to do it differently, oftentimes we'll stay in the model that we know, even if it's not getting the results that we want. And what I hear from too many doctors on too regular of a basis is that they're ready to sell their practice, they're ready to throw in the towel, they are going to completely switch careers. They don't want to do it anymore. It's like they've lost the joy, they've lost the passion, because it's become a numbers game, and they really don't know how to change the model so they can regain their passion and their joy. So let's talk about it, okay? I want to fast track you today on this webinar. And this is literally just a short snippet of what we really go through at length in our one-day Practice Accelerator seminar. And you're going to be able to find out all about that again at Practice Accelerator 30and30.com or fmpracticeaccelerator.com, because I want you to be able to get to where you want to go. Now, the truth of the matter is that we all want to go to different places and we want some different outcomes, but what we cover specifically at the Practice Accelerator are the 4 essentials, okay? Because after my more than 20 plus years, both as a treating clinician as well as a top consultant in this integrative space to many practices, what I see again and again and again is there are 4 key areas where breakdown can and often does occur within a typical practice, okay? So step 1 is, how do you get them? How do you get your ideal patient to your practice? Problem number 2 is, how do you actually close them? Once they're there, how do you actually do more than assign the diagnosis code and do what the insurance company says? Because if that model is broken, and if we've got to start looking to more of a cash-based model or more of an integrative model of cash and insurance, then you have to begin to understand a little bit more about handling cash. And that's a sales cycle and a sales process. And it's not that you have to become a hard-nosed, car salesperson, and there's a lot of great ones out there. We just all kind of understand that metaphor. But there is a real art to effective communication in a clinical environment that makes a patient and a clinician feel authentic and safe and comfortable about what's being prescribed, if you will, what's really being recommended, and that's the sale, guys. That's the sale. So I want you got to know about that. Then you got to know how to treat them. Okay, because again, with this change in healthcare, with you getting to go off the grid a little bit, more than just what the insurance company says if you're going to go to more of a cash model, then too often you know what you want to do, but you just don't know how to put it together in a way that actually gets your patient from point A to B to C to true outcomes and clinical results. But then last but not least, if and as you do get them, you get them in your cycle and you get them through, so many docs don't know how to keep them. So they're spending all this money on the front end, all this money on marketing. Their sales aren't so strong, so they've got to spend tons and tons here because they're not closing that many. Then once the ones they do close, they're not able to keep them really long because of their treatment systems, that then they have to go spend more money on marketing, and it becomes an unsustainable model. So I want to teach you how to spend less here over time, how to spend what you really need to get the right result, but then over time, less and less and less and less. I want to teach you how to maximize your communication skills so that the leads that you do have coming to your practice, you can close effectively and quickly for higher dollar sales if you choose. I'm going to teach you how to create more comprehensive plans and programs that will actually keep them longer, and then I'm going to teach you all about points of automation. So even once they go through their main care plan, things like, well, I'm not going to give it all away. You're just going to have to keep watching the webinar to find out the things you do to keep them, all right? So right now we need a jump off point. Hopefully that sounds really interesting to you. You know you're in the right place. Keep watching. I'm going to do my best to keep this to 30 minutes or less so you can get exactly what you need. Make sure you've got a pen and a paper, because the things I'm going to show you right now, you need to really think about. You need to come up with the information yourself, because this is foundation. You can't build a healthy business if you don't have what I'm about to share with you answered and covered and knowing what to do with it, okay? So question number one, before I get into the 4-step process, I have to ask you, what do you want? Now, we all have different things that we want. And sometimes it's a combination of all of it. You know, do you want more money? If we're talking business today, I'm going to tell you, just for example purposes, I'm going to make an assumption that if you're listening, you somehow want to know how to increase profits. Because even if you want more patients, why do you want more patients? Well, typically it has to do with profit and revenue somewhere within there, and that's okay. Maybe you want more profit so you can pay better salaries to your awesome employees because you want to keep them really happy and they do such a great job. There's no shame in wanting to be profitable as a business owner. So what do you want? Do you want more money? Do you want more patients, more patient visits? Do you want more time? Maybe your schedule's, you've got as many patients as you want and you're maxed out on your schedule, and you're just looking how to better manage what you do have, how to work smarter versus harder. You want more time, you want more flexibility. You want to be able to grow, and maybe you do have other hobbies and passions and joys and ways that you want to grow your business or grow your own celebrity. Maybe there's a book you've been waiting to write, but there just has not been enough time. So what do you want? And now the big thing is, what's your why, right? For what reason? I will tell you this again and again and again. Whenever you're going to take a step in your practice or in life, you always want to say, for what reason? You got to know your why, because that will then dictate the actions and the choices you make. If you don't know why you're really doing it and you're just kind of shooting from the hip, then you're going to have a 50-50 chance if you're really going to get the outcome you want. But the more you can understand what you want and why you want it, then the greater the likelihood that you're going to achieve it, okay? Because I'm going to show you in a minute how to break it down to understand how to get it. So do you want more money because you want more freedom, more peace of mind, more financial security? You want to sleep better at night? Do you want more visits because you want to help more, you want to earn more time because you want better work-life balance, flexibility, you want to maximize your schedule? You know, some people just have huge gaps in their day and they just feel like they're wasting their time because they're not maximizing what they do have. So just some different things. What do you want? What do you want? Why do you want it? It's got to have some juicy why. But once you start to wrap your head around your why, I want you to make it tangible. So let's boil it down to you. And in this example that I'm going to take you through, if we're talking how to accelerate our practice for greater patient outcomes and profitability, I'm making an assumption that you want to know how to increase revenue or profits. So we're going to do an example, okay? And please plug in your own example. I just did this for a really easy number for a point of reference. And if you are a single business, just a small business, maybe it's you and 1 or 2 other staff members, this example might just be hitting the nail on the head. If you are a larger group practice, then this is going to, seem like no, but you can take the concept and apply it appropriately, okay? So pick a number. Where do you want to be every month? Where do you want to be? So where are you at? Where do you want to be? Let's pretend you want to be at $25,000 a month in revenue, okay? So the next question is, how do you get it? If you're, let's say you want 25, but you're at 15, how do you make that jump in that 10%, or excuse me, that $10,000, that extra $10,000 a month? Well, you want to be able to create a successful business with what you have. The mistake I see so often from my clients and people I consult with that they come to me is they think that they need more. They think they need more, they need something new. It's what's the next bright, shiny object. And this has got to be one of the biggest pitfalls of any business, guys, because I'm going to tell you, if you don't master what you have. Now, if the things you have are total junk, okay, then let's figure out if we need to bring in all new systems and programs. But I'm sure you wouldn't be listening to this, you wouldn't have stayed in practice as long as you have if there isn't something good about what you do. So we've got to look at what you offer, why people are coming in, and what you offer that's good, that's relevant, that's helping people, okay? And we want to maximize it. So I'm going to help you to understand how to maximize what you have. Please, first and foremost, I need you to take what you've got. I need you to look at it in a new way. I need you to really give it some love, some attention, some dedication for 6 months. You must be willing to commit for at least 6 months, and then you're going to get it systemized. I promise you, it happens like clockwork. Then, once you've got a healthy, strong foundation, then you can build, because everything you will build on top of this is going to be very similar. So it's going to almost be like a rinse and repeat, but you've got to get your foundation solid. So what do you offer in your practice? Just make a list. Okay, here are some examples from different types of practitioners. Plug in your words. You know, what type of testing do you offer? What type of nutraceuticals and clinical supplementations do you offer? What type of visits? You know, do you have coaching visits, doctor's visits? Do you have neurofeedback visits? Do you have detox treatments? Do you have, do you have a counselor or a psychologist in your practice? Are you doing massage? Are you doing acupuncture? What are you doing? Just list everything out that you offer under the roof of your business. And next, what I'm about to show you is a numbers scenario, because remember, right now I'm just kind of priming the pump here for you guys before we get into the 4 key places, and you just have to think, what do I want? Why do I want it? Well, we said we want $25,000 a month, and there's a lot of ways. If you've got a list of more than one thing in your practice, then there's a lot of ways. Even if you only had one thing, there's still multiple paths you could go down to achieve earning $25,000 in revenue a month. There are easier paths and there are more challenging paths. Whichever one you take is totally up to you. Okay, so this is just an example, and these are some, an example of how you can hit your revenue goal. So let's say you offer some type of therapy or coaching or session that's $100. Okay, $100 per unit. Well, to hit your goal of $25,000, you're going to have to sell 250 of those. 250 of those per month. Now, that's a lot of marketing leads. I'm telling you, that's a ton of money you're going to have to pay in marketing to get 250 people that actually close, that sign up, that say yes and move forward at $100 a pop, okay? So there's that. You could do it that way. But that is going to be one of your more challenging ways. You're going to be working a lot harder than smarter. Then there's a way where we could say, all right, well, maybe I'll do one of my testing packages and I'll sell some supplements with that. And let's say the cost of this package is $500. Well, now you only have to sell 50 of those to get to $25,000. That's already, look, I mean, we just cut that, by 75%. That's wonderful. That's amazing. So you just cut your workload down, but that's still, in order to get to 50 closes, you still need, if you're really good at sales, at least 100 people coming in a month, and that's still going to cost you a bundle on the front end for marketing. Or you're going to have a massive street team. You're really going to have to be hustling to be able to get that. But now let's say you make the package $1,000. You're going to do a reporting, your supplements, a testing, and now you only have to sell 25 of those. Okay, now as you can see, now let's say you're going to do that base package and you're going to throw in X amount, 15 sessions of therapy, and that just took it up to 2,500. Well, now you only need to sell 10 of those. And now let's go for the gusto. Let's say that you've got your foundational, there's 2 tests you're going to offer, you're going to do 30 types of therapy sessions, whatever those are, and now that's a $5,000 program. You've only got to sell 5. So you can see that it's really up to you, the path you decide to take. Doesn't matter how you want to hit your goal, but in order to hit your goal, you've got to understand something in business that are called your critical drivers. This means what drives the outcome. So if this is what you've got, this is functional blood chemistry, by the way, guys. That's just a abbreviation that we use. So let's say you're doing functional blood chemistry, you're doing saliva testing, you offer chiropractic adjustments, therapy sessions, doctor's visits, neurofeedback sessions. So let's say this is what you've got. Now we've got to look at, well, how many of these would I have to sell a month? How much revenue would that generate to get me here? And then you start to look and say, what am I selling the most of? What is my most profitable? Well, man, 20 of these bad boys, you know, you're selling 20 of those a month and you're at 6. And we start to look, and well, I do a lot of therapy and I do a lot of chiropractic and I do a lot of doctor's visits. Is there a way I could combine these key drivers and make it either a bigger package, or there are ways that I can take this foundational package and then add on to it? Add in some chiropractic visits, since I've got so many of those and so many of these. Is there a way to take my functional blood chemistry and add in just 3 follow-up doctor visits? You see, so you have to understand your critical drivers. What do I have? And if I just sell each of them a la carte, how much work do I have to do? How much staff is it going to take to oversee this? But what is the most profitable, and how can I narrow this down? How can I take what's good and just add something else that's equally as important, but maybe as less? That's why I'm saying, look at your functional blood chem and say, can I add in a chiro visit? That's less money. You know, take your functional blood chem, add in a doctor's visit. Is there, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I can't take too much time on this because we've got to get to the big important things. We'll go through this more at the actual seminar, but I need you to understand what you offer and what is it going to take? What attention do you need to take on those services? And where is your time and energy and that of your staff best served to get you to your goal? When you look at all of this, if you're not doing, like in this scenario, they're not doing a lot of neurofeedback, okay? That's the least expensive. So should they be focusing on neurofeedback? No, they're already not doing as much of that, you know, I mean, because they can do less of a doctor's visit and they've doubled what they're generating. So we want to think smarter versus harder. So you want to look through your stuff and say, are there some things that we can back off of? We don't have to put as much pressure on because it's not generating as much money into the business. Likewise, where are we making our revenue and how do we drive more to that to actually reach our goal? So remember, you get to choose smarter versus harder. You can do a lot of a little and be running around like a chicken with your head cut off and totally maxed out, or you can be doing a little for a lot and have more time and freedom and flexibility, or you could be somewhere right in the center and just still have that really nice balance, but it depends on what's important to you, okay? So once you get just that really basic information figured out, and it's essential, please pause this if you need to, go take time and write that out, really consider it. But once you understand what you offer, now the really big question is who needs what you have to offer? Who can you help? What conditions, what type of people, what type of issues are you most uniquely and specifically qualified to help? And what are people seeking you out for most commonly? Why do they come to you? Why are they referred to you? Why do they want your help? Now, I want you to think bigger than your title. You might say, well, they come to me for acupuncture. Well, do they really come to you for acupuncture? Or are they coming to you for pain reduction? And they've heard that acupuncture is a great natural remedy treatment for pain. Okay, so I want you to think about the real thing, that pain point, literally, that's driving them into your practice. Because this is where we now move into, I love this little baby, practice accelerators for, you know, our 4 essentials. And that is, number 1, how do you get them? Okay, so once you understand, here's what I got and here's who needs it, now we go into this process of going, how do I actually get them to my practice? How do I get them there? And what I need you to understand, because this is one of the most confusing areas for practitioners, is marketing. And since I don't have a lot of time to go into it today, but we will be taking time at the actual seminar, I need you to realize there is something called a marketing funnel. There is a process by which people will actually know, like, and trust you and decide to come in for an appointment and convert to a close to actually becoming a patient. So there's a lot that happens out there, both in your local market as well as in the digital space, before they ever come to you. One thing I need you to realize is that the research unequivocally shows that 86% of all people are on their devices. Here's what we got to do. Let me show you. Marketing, you've got to build a bridge. You got to build a bridge from where your person is at and bring them over, pretend you're right over here, okay? It's literally a way to get your message out in front of the audience, in front of that person with the pain, to let them know that you are the one that can help them. You can help them get the result they want, which is, what do they want? They want to be free of pain, right? But why? Well, because they want to be able to play with their grandkids. They want to be able to go rock climbing. They want to pick up more shifts at work, and they haven't been able to. Maybe they're a truck driver and they haven't been able to get out there and drive because they're in so much pain. So what is it that they want that matters to them? And that's what marketing's all about. It's about building this bridge from where they're at to you. And the bridge, I'm going to go back for a minute, the bridge is actually this funnel. So there is a process, and we give them little breadcrumbs at each part of this process. We're going to really cover that, and we're going to simplify this at the actual Practice Accelerator, because you have to realize that it's not a one and done. It's not just putting out one ad. It's not doing one radio or television appearance, or having an article written about you, or doing a Google ad campaign for a couple of days or even for 1 month. That's not what it is about. That's what I call a one and done. One and dones don't work. You will throw your money right down this funnel, right into the shooter, okay? I said shooter, not, I don't know if it sounded like something else. Oh, sorry about that, guys. But you'll just be throwing your money away, and I don't want you to do that. I can teach you how to simplify it. There are several key areas that you have to know. We'll break it down. I'll give you example lists when you come to the seminar, so it'll really make it clear for you. But I just wanted you to know that there are moving parts to it, and you need to have both free and paid, local, and most importantly, you need digital, especially if you're trying to get in front of your audience, especially if you want more patients and more potential leads to come into your practice. So once you start to realize that, man, I got to get in front of them, I got to talk to them in their language with the thing that they're looking for, that I am uniquely qualified to help them with, and now they're coming into your practice, well, the next question you got to go is, how do I close them? How do I close them once they're here? Oh my gosh, I'm used to just writing a diagnosis code, sending it to the insurance company. They pay a copay and I don't have to do anything. And now I have to look at increasing revenue, and I have to think about selling something, and that's really uncomfortable for doctors because you weren't taught to sell. But I want you to think of it in a different way, because for so many people the word selling has a negative connotation. And I want you to think about passionately communicating. All you're doing is being honest. If you're just sharing your honest knowledge with the people in front of you, then you give them the chance to say yes or no. If it's a fit and they get it, they're going to say yes. If it doesn't resonate with them, they're going to say no. If they're saying no more than they say yes, then you do need to look at maybe there's something that you could do a little bit better in how you're communicating. But let me break down the sales system that close. And when you come out to the Practice Accelerator seminar, and we're going to be at cities literally across the country. Our next one coming up is actually in West Palm Beach, Florida. Of course, by the time you watch this webinar, you might be seeing it at different days, so you'll be able to see the dates and the different cities when you actually go to the website, Practice Accelerator 30 and 30in30.com. So, but let me tell you, if I had to just kind of give you the really quick skinny on it, they come in, it is your job to make sure they're in the right place. Like, can you really help them, okay? Don't try to sell them something. Don't try to do something if you're not the right one for them. If you can help them, let them know. If you can't, then refer them out, okay? It can be that simple. But once you know you can help them, then you're going to use your system, which typically is going to be some type of a eval, exam, history intake type of process, right? You're going to find what the problem is, then you're going to prove to them. You're going to prove, you're going to use science. We're going to teach you all about this at the Practice Accelerator. I love that this has been a game changer for so many docs. But you're going to prove to them that you have the solution, and you're going to show it to them. We are all visual learners. By showing them, people need proof. You can't just say, well, I think you should, and maybe, and hey, well, we've got this, or you could do that. You're going to get a no every time. You have to give proof that you walk your talk. You know what's going on. You've found the problem. You've got the solution. You're going to show them how. You are going to take the guesswork out of it for them. You're going to give them a clear path, which is going to give them confidence and peace of mind. And then you're going to give them the opportunity to say yes and to sign up and to move forward. And it can be that simple. Now, at the actual one day, we're going to do a small breakout session so that you'll actually have an opportunity to run through what it would be like to do this type of consultation so that you can feel more comfortable with the art of an effective close. So let's say that you've done phenomenal marketing. You got people coming in. You came out to the one day, you really started to feel good about your consultation process, and so now your close rates are going up. And so now they're there. But now you're going, well, what do I do? Like I'm used to like doing a single service. How do I treat them so they stay? How do I treat them? And I don't mean just customer service, which, by the way, is absolutely essential and an increasingly important component in any healthcare practice. Gone are the days that you can just have a cluttered space, make people wait for 2 hours and just think it's all about you and not about them. That is the absolute wrong mindset. Absolute wrong mindset, because here's what you got to do. You have to look at your practice from the patient's point of view. They're the ones that are paying. They're the ones that now, in the age of digital, they will make or break you in a moment by what they're going to say out there in the digital space. So customer service and giving a wow experience is the difference that will set you apart. Customer service is so essential, especially in really a patient being able to say, I will pay out of pocket. I will pay to have you take care of me beyond my copay because I like you. I now know you. I like what you're telling me, and I really trust you, and I'm developing a rapport. I'm developing a relationship with you. And this place, like you go above and beyond, and this is worth every penny. But if you're asking them for the moon and you're giving them so little, think of it as if you were them. You've got to stop thinking about what you want. You've got to think about what is it that they need, okay? And so then you're going to make sure that you provide them with a clear plan that shows how they'll get the results they want. So the way that you're going to treat them is if you go back to that list of your critical drivers, you're just taking your data from your exam and you're saying, what is it that they really need? And how do I need to communicate to them to let them know that they need multiple things over a period of time to actually get a clinical corrective result? One and dones don't work. If you don't show them, if you don't prove it to them, you don't tell them, they're going to simply go by their symptoms because that's what they've been taught to do. And as soon as they feel better, if that only takes 1 or 2 times, then they're going to think they don't need to come back in. Likewise, if they're not feeling better, then they're thinking that it doesn't work and they're not going to come back in. But then there's a greater chance that they're going to also put out some negative commentary on social media as well. Now, when you come to the Practice Accelerator 30 and 30, we're going to show you reporting and systems that show the patient exactly what they need and, most importantly, why they need it. It's going to help you sell the appropriate clinical nutraceuticals. It's going to help you to develop appropriate plans of care. It's going to help you really narrow things down and give them proof positive of what's going on with clinical deficiencies, of how their body's actually functioning. We're going to help you to understand how to organize and think primary, secondary, and tertiary so you can have a plan. You can give them a plan. You're going to help them to understand what they need to get well. You're going to look at what do you have when you see their problems, what do you have that helps them, and you're going to make sure that you can help them, and you're going to put it together in a way that will get them the result. And we're going to teach you all about this at the one-day seminar. Last but not least, and this is super important, because remember earlier I showed you, if you cannot keep a patient, you're going to have to keep spending so much on marketing, you'll never cut down your marketing budget. It's always going to cost you a ton, and depending on the results that you want, may at some point become unsustainable. And trust me, I've seen a lot of great practices come very close to shutting their doors, and some that have shut their doors because they couldn't afford the marketing to keep it open. Okay, so I want to teach you all about the areas of your practice that you can automate to make it really, really easy for patients to stay. Now, just some of the real off the top, and we'll go into this a bit more in depth when you're there, are membership models, things like auto-ship, e-commerce. Man, we're teaching docs left and right how to set up an e-commerce system, webinars, videos, group classes, referral programs, and more. So these are just ways that you can simplify some of the things you're doing so you can maximize the results. It just makes it easier for you, for your team as well, and most importantly, for your patients. So today's webinar, my friend, was really all about just giving you a quick kind of overarching view of the 4 essential elements, how to get them, how to close them, how to treat them, how to keep them. It's an idea that today was really about giving you the moment and the opportunity to see and to question, where am I at and where do I want to go? What do I have that I can use to get me there? And what out of these 4 essential areas, if any, where do I have holes in my bucket? Do I have areas that are better performing than others? Do I have some that are really underperforming? Am I, just leaking water everywhere and the boat's going down? So if you do find that you are having holes in your bucket in any one of these 4 critical areas, then I want you right now to take action. Please don't wait. It's silly. Like, there's just no reason. This is an awesome one-day, super, super inexpensive seminar. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors like Numedica. We love them so much. They're helping to deliver this to you guys so we can keep it at a very, very low price. And it is, you can go to fmpracticeaccelerator.com to find out more and to register. Look at the cities, see what's close to you. But look, there's great airfare, so even if you don't see one right by you, it's worth it to hop on a plane because we've got this going so low. We're making it on a one day so you can come in, you can get what you need, and we teach you. You're literally going to leave with an action sheet to know where you need to go take immediate steps to start implementing. So you can go over to fmpracticeaccelerator.com. The domain practiceaccelerator30in30.com also takes you to the exact same page, and you've seen that website address throughout this. So I want you to go take action because I don't want you to have to feel frustrated. I get it. I've been there. I remember it all too well. And look, it's life. It's part of being a business owner. It's part of being a doctor and a clinician in this changing healthcare space. But I want to help to minimize this for you because you do have an easier way and a harder way. You can work smarter or you can work harder. And there's no judgment. I'm not judging. What's right for you is right for you, and I applaud that. I just want you to get the help and the support that you deserve because you truly can create the practice of your dream. You truly can thrive in the ways that are most important to you, and you don't have to do it on your own. You don't have to feel frustrated and struggle and challenged. So you can come out to this one-day seminar and you will begin to really understand all about marketing partners and systems that are available to you at low cost and free cost. We're going to teach you all about digital advertising, websites. We're going to teach you about local opportunities available to you and more. We're going to teach you about our proven MET sales system, okay? So once you get those people to your practice, how do you close them? And we're actually going to do a practice session. We're going to go through clinical systems, and I'm going to teach you all about Dr. Weatherby's functional blood chemistry software system and our business system that goes with it so you can sell more nutraceuticals, additional testing, additional services, and that you'll have a frame of reference of how to really put it together so that you can do just that and increase your profits and your patient outcomes by greater. And I'm telling you, I've seen it. We have put this model into so many practices across the country, and it works. And then we're going to teach you about automating, okay? And you're not going to be able to do it all at once. You're going to find the area that's most critical for many. It's right here in the center. They want to know about the sales system with the the software and how to really implement it. These are the two most important pieces typically for docs, because I can send patients to you all day long, but if you can't close them and treat them, then it's no good. You're still going to be bleeding money out here, okay? So come on out. It's a one day. You're going to have a great, great interactive experience. We make it a lot of fun. New Medica is sponsoring lunch for us at the West Palm Beach location. So there's going to be some really healthy, gluten-free, dairy-free, yummy food. Just a nice light lunch to enjoy. We're going to start at 12:30. So if you're in practice that morning or if you're traveling in, we've kept that in mind, and we're going to go 12:30. We're going to go to about 5:36, and we are going to make it a power-packed, amazing one-day seminar that you will not forget. You don't want to miss it. Please take action right now. Go to fmpracticeaccelerator.com to sign up and save your seat so that you don't miss out. Guys, it has been such an honor and a pleasure. I love every day that I get to go out and help docs just like you. I love that we're all out there together really making a positive impact, because the world needs you. It needs all of us out there really being the change. So from the bottom of my heart, thanks so much for tuning in today. I cannot wait to see you at the Practice Accelerator. Make sure you go now, practiceaccelerator30and30.com or fmpracticeaccelerator.com. Sign up. I'll see you at the seminar. Until then, I'm Dr. Melissa. Stay amazing.